we've got all these spots where the pillars will be to hold up the awnings that'll come across here, make this kind of the grand entrance to the campus. It'll be gated during the day when students are here, so visitors will have to go through the front office to the right here.
Okay.
So this is the main lobby. So this is where people coming into the school during the day will come in. There'll be a little trophy cabinet over here for, you know, awards that are current. A little sitting area for people that are waiting. Restroom here. This will be your reception desk here. So,
Nice.
high school secretary's office.
And these buildings were all prefabricated in Phoenix area, right?
Yep,
and then
they're
shipped
built
here.
over on Madison and then hauled over. Yep. So you got a staff bathroom, a conference room.
It feels nice and cool in here, so I guess your
the
AC's working.
AC's working, that's right. Nurse's office with a restroom.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Nice.
And this is the principal's office. So he's got a nice view out through the campus.
Keep an eye on everything.
That's right. Teacher break room, refrigerator will go there. Have some seating over here. So,
And once again, looking out over into the courtyard.
yep. All right, so this is the media center. And we built this with these little kind of student workrooms. So those will have little conference tables in them where students and small groups that need to work on projects can come here and use those spaces. Have some privacy, but still be supervised. So there's 1, 2 of those. This is your librarian's office, 2 bathrooms. Still some work to be done on the ceiling here. This is going to be our business classroom. So this will have computers that students will learn, you know, all your Microsoft classes and all those things. So yeah.
Sweet.
So the seminary building is going to be built right across the way there.
Kind of where
And
those
so-
solar panels are?
Kind of where, yep, kind of where those solar panels are. So there will be a sidewalk that will go across this retention. There'll be culverts underneath it so the water can get from one side to the other. So the students will basically go through the gate here, walk across the seminary, get done, walk back from seminary. Like I said, there's a gate there to go to seminary. There's a gate over there by the main office. There'll be gates between the other buildings. So this whole area is basically secured. The public won't have regular access to this, but for people wandering onto campus, the students will have this space. So this is a smaller room. This is one of our special education rooms. So there's this room, another one just like it that doesn't have a doorway, and then this other smaller room. And they're connected to their own bathrooms, their own laundry facility, and then another sensory room that's kind of a little bit more protected. It doesn't have a fire alarm in it, doesn't have speakers in it, so that you don't have any possibility of any noises that could be really disruptive to a student that has, you know, auditory processing issues. So this is one of our science classrooms. We've got 3 science classrooms. They're all larger than your average classroom because they'll have the build outs for the sinks and countertops all the way around them, so students have areas to work when they're doing activities. We got a grant from the United Way about 3 years ago to buy a lot of equipment to furnish our science classrooms. When we bought that equipment, we bought it with an eye towards moving it. So it's all portable built-ins. And so all of that material, all that equipment that's in the current science classrooms will get moved over here over the next couple of weeks. That's probably why this isn't done yet. They're still, I mean, today, I guess, is their last day of school. Well, tomorrow they come in and sign out. But this is one of the bathroom suites for students.
Nice.
Looks like a young ladies' room. So sinks, restrooms. One of the mistakes that Pima made years back when they built the building was that they didn't put in sufficient restrooms, and it's really harmed the program in a million ways. So on this campus we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3 outside facing bathroom suites for students, plus the one that we saw in the library, plus 2 in the gym cafeteria building. So we have plenty of restroom space. So this is basically kind of the heart of your academic classrooms. All of your math, English, social studies classrooms are down here. And so we can take a look at kind of one of those. Once you've seen one, you've kind of seen them all. Hello. All right.
And so this would typically accommodate how many students in the class?
So basically these classrooms are designed to serve up to 20 students. So yeah, they're a little bit smaller than our elementary classrooms, just because high school classes tend to be a little bit smaller. Also, kids aren't moving around as much in these academic classrooms. So basically, yeah, the teacher's work wall will be underneath the window. That puts the natural light to the back of the students. You got the millwork to the one side, and then each classroom has an adjoining, so that kind of gives them a security outlet. If there was ever a problem, they need to get to another room, they can just play through, kind of like this. So yeah, this one's got the counters in it. So yeah.
Those are nice bright windows there too.
Yes, lots of natural light, but they're all tinted and UV treated so that it keeps the rooms from getting too hot. So, I mean, basically we've got more of those academic classrooms.
There's the bathrooms over there.
Another bathroom suite here.
So all those classrooms have these windows, tinted windows, but looking out onto the courtyard as well.
Correct.
So all the light comes in, but not the heat.
Right. Yeah.
It's a nice design.
So basically across from the science classrooms, we have our performing arts classrooms.
Oh, performing arts.
So this is the band room.
The nice high ceilings.
Nice high ceilings, yes. And we learned that the hard way. Apparently you have to have high ceilings if you're going to have a band in them, so the sound has someplace to go. Otherwise, the teacher will end up going deaf.
So how high is it? It looks like
about 18 feet.
18 feet?
Yeah. So yeah, that's why this building had to be built on campus. Everything else was built off campus and brought here. And then we've got
Except for the gym.
Except for the gym and the CTE building. Those are metal buildings, but this one is different. So, but we've got all the sound baffles. There's 2 practice rooms on this side and on the other side. They're fully baffled inside, heavily insulated in the walls so that you can't hear or be disturbed by what's going on in the other rooms. Instrument storage. So this will have cubbies for kids to put their instruments in during the day. And then slightly smaller, but very similar, is the choir room over on this side.
Once again with the same high ceilings and
Yep.
practice rooms as well.
Correct. Yep.
And there's your soundboards.
So yeah.
Impressive. Oh, Shonda's gonna like that.
She's pretty excited. Well, yeah, we've got a lot of CTE programs. We went through the business room first up by the library. We'll go through culinary here in a second. But really, the 2 big CTE programs are construction, where our kids basically learn what they need to learn to get a job working for a contractor after high school, and then ag, where if they wanted to get a job working for a farmer after they graduate high school, they're prepared for that.
We also have acres here dedicated to ag too, right?
We do. We have 5 acres set aside just for that. So this is the construction space. And we'll bring over a lot of the equipment from the existing workshop. Plus we got a significant grant from the GIFT, the Hewlett Institute for Technology, to support bringing in new equipment, paying for things like the dust collector and some of the other necessary infrastructure. So
What is this giant hopper thing over here?
that's the dust collector.
That's the dust collector?
Yep. So yeah, all of these ducts that you see in the ceiling, that'll pull the sawdust from individual pieces of equipment, will then basically fill these barrels, and then periodically you have somebody haul that off and start fresh. So this area behind the walls will have gates on it so that we have secure storage. This area out front is big enough to build a double wide on. So it's 30 feet wide, 60 feet long.
What are we going to do with all this concrete here?
So basically all of this concrete is here so they have a layout yard for our construction.
Oh, wow.
So that they've been working on sheds, like garden sheds or storage sheds.
Oh, yeah.
And now they have the space to build to their heart's content.
Sweet.
Whatever they can imagine.
Well, while we're out here, those are tennis courts, right?
Correct. So yeah, we'll have 8 tennis courts and 2 outside basketball courts that are out here.
Okay, yeah.
Plus softball and baseball, the football field, past the end of the football field will be a practice field. It can be striped out for football, but it's also set up with a javelin run, a discus throw, and a shot put throw. We've got the full asphalt track that'll get surfaced here last, so we don't make a mess on it. But that'll have your long jump, your high jump, your pole vault in the D's behind the goalposts, so that we can do track meets here. And our track meet team will no longer have to go to Safford for practice.
Awesome.
So, and they won't have to go to the college for tennis practice. So, and then we have a soccer field out, you can't see it from here because it's behind the grandstand. There's a full-size soccer field that'll be back there as well, so that we'll have another. And again, it's another soccer field for the town of Pima. It's another baseball field for the town of Pima. You know, I mean, they're built for the high school, but they just increase the resources that the community has to use for athletic events, and just for other things. You know, I mean, we've used the football field we've had for how many Pioneer Days, and you know, we tried to make this a nice kind of open campus so that, again, it's inviting to the community, because that's whose this is. It's not my school, it's their school. So, all right, so this is the weight room. So
it's already got the right music going for the weight room. Heck yeah.
It's a little more intentional than what we have right now, where we've got a lot of padding from Tractor Supply. This will last a lot longer and be a lot more hygienic. We got offices for our coaches, gym teachers. Got a restroom with a shower in it that our officials can use after games.
Oh, nice.
So that space. 2 locker rooms.
These are the locker rooms?
So, yeah. I didn't think they have lockers in them yet. No. So they just finished polishing the floors. Probably mad at me for walking on them. So, and then that comes into another bathroom where, there's a doorway there that can be locked so that during games you can open this up to the public, because it comes right onto the Hall of Fame. Nice. You didn't warn me that was there.
Hall of Fame.
Yep.
This will be a cool before. I have to do an after.
Right?
When everything's moved over.
And everything's clean and all the finished up. Ceilings are in.
Which is less than 3 months, right? Is that right?
Less than. Yeah, right? Yep. So this is our dining hall area, cafeteria. This will be kind of fixed seating. This area here will have tables and chairs that can be stuck in a storage room if this wanted to be used for a dance or any other kind of a community event. It's got
How
access
many
to outside.
kids do you expect to eat at one time in the cafeteria here?
gosh, if we saw a dramatic increase in the number of kids number of high school students that ate lunch on campus, we would have some. So, yeah,
Right.
right. So basically, and it's just a heat and serve kitchen. All the food will still be prepared over in the cafeteria at the elementary school. That's our preparation kitchen. But then they can basically bring it over here, warm it, serve it in that area. So one of the other smart things, I think it's smart, but
Freezer.
when we designed all this, so you see that's our heat and serve kitchen area. Kind of comes into here where you've got kind of a food prep area, big walk-in cooler, right? You say, well, gosh, why would you need a big walk-in cooler just for a heat and serve kitchen? Well, that's because this all connects to our culinary space. So the space where our students will learn about cooking and food service and all those things. So basically, it kind of shares. They have access to the walk-in cooler. They have access to the dry storage. They have access to those sinks as well as the sinks in here. So,
Some nice ranges you got for them.
yeah. Well, you know, the ranges that we've had for a very long time, and we've held off on replacing them because we knew that this was going to happen in the near future. So we've really kind of upped the program. And again, the grant that we got from the Hill Institute for Technology, from the GIFT program, has paid for much of this equipment and really made it possible for us to take this to the next level for our kids. So yes, they have the lab space here, they have classroom space right there through the window, so that they can, you know, be doing classroom work or doing lab work as the teacher, Mrs. Richards, feels appropriate. So yeah. Want some fries with that?
Yeah.
And now the part of the campus that most of the public will probably see most often is the gym. You see the floor has been delivered, but hasn't been installed yet. And that's kind of the next project. We just have to get all that wood acclimated to the temperature and humidity in here before they start laying it down, so we don't have to worry about any warpage. As long as it's all bundled together, it acclimatizes pretty evenly. So yeah, this gym is similar to the gym we have now, except that the seating will run the full length instead of what we have now, where it gets broken up by some walkways.
So there's room for more seating in this gym?
Well, we have more seating on the length side. We don't go as high, so we end up with about 10% more seating than we had, but it's going to be easier to access. You're not going to have to climb up as far as you did. The other thing is that for those basketball enthusiasts that really pay attention, the cross courts on the new gym, which is the one we've been in since 1988, those cross courts aren't full length, and so they're good for bantam, but you can't really use them for tournaments. You can't really hardly use them for practice because they're just not that full length. These are full length. So in this gym, the wood floor will go all the way wall to wall under the bleachers, and it'll be striped for full cross court basketball and volleyball, as well as the main floor.
So you'll have 2 full-length courts as well as your main court.
Correct. Yep.
That's a lot of sprints.
I know. Yep.
So this is...
But again, if you were going to use
wider.
this for, I mean, it means that our students won't have to be practicing as late into the night. That's been a problem that I know parents have expressed frustration about over the years.
You can run one team over there and
You
another
could have
team over
JV,
here.
varsity, or boys and girls. I mean, plus you still have the new gym, plus you still have the Stan Smith gym. So really, I mean, that gives us 4 indoor full-size courts for practicing. And actually, if you hung a curtain, you could probably even use them for, if you were going to do a tournament or something like that, where you didn't have a lot of spectators. You could really make the space work. So
how long does this wood have to acclimate?
this will be the last thing that's done on this job. These will go down about the 3rd week in July. They'll install this wood floor. Well, they'll finish the finish on it that late, I should say. So it'll go down a little bit before that, but it has to, I mean, they've got to set the subfloor, then there's an intermediate layer, then there's the finished layer that goes on top, and then that all gets put in, then that all gets sanded, gets painted with the lines and the logos, and then it gets finished, and then the finish dries and it gets finished again, and then it'll be ready.
Big Rough Rider on the center court.
Big Rough Rider on the center court, of course. So yeah, I mean, they did a nice job with, putting Pima High School up on the wall. Lots of room in here to hang championship banners. That's interesting. So yeah.
Thank you for taking us on the tour of the
Yeah.
new high school being built in Pima, Arizona. Opening up August 6th,
That's right.
2025.
Yes.
Road
And I
or no
anticipate,
road.
and I anticipate that we'll have a kind of a ribbon cutting and a public open house on the Tuesday before that. So we'll give people the opportunity to kind of come and walk through the campus once it looks a little bit more finished than it does now.